Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Paranormal Diner. I am your host, Jay Hill. We have a special guest tonight. I mean, he's been on my show, on my other shows, a couple different times, and he's a really good friend of mine. I consider him to be like a brother of mine. We have some great history. Um, he has his own podcast called Historically Haunted Podcast with Adam Began. And without further ado, let's get him on here. What's up, brother?
Yeah, Jay, Mr. J Hill, Psychic Medium. What's up, brother?
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good, man. It was good to finally see you. We were on Brady Goebel's first ever podcast a couple of days ago, and you're like, "You're gonna come on in a couple of days." I'm like, "Well, you're gonna come on mine too again." So
Right.
mutual friend.
Right. So I kind of figure I would nip that in the ass right away. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna snag him and get him on a Monday right away, and you were free, so I know that you're kind of busy sometimes and you got other stuff going on, but I was like, I got to get this guy. He's my brother.
I'll fucking make time for Jay Hill. You kidding me?
That's right.
You were one of the first ones to really give me my start on your show back with Shane a long time ago. So I ain't forgotten that. We can go maybe a month or two without talking, and then it's on Facebook. It's like, hey, man, how are you? It's we get that.
Right,
we get busy.
right.
Wives, family lives, but we know we mutual respect. So I'm pleased to be on your show, man. Again.
and I totally appreciate it. I was going to ask you, do you still have that Studio 6 paranormal podcast shirt?
At home, I got to shut off with the saying out back from H.P. Lovecraft that you put on the back of my shirt.
Yep.
The white shirt. I think I might have stained it once or twice.
You should like white. Right. You should probably like hang it up and make it like into a poster.
I think I'm hanging it in my podcast room. I got a couple other shirts in there. I got one from
Right.
Ray Gooseby with the monkey there. What the fuck was this podcast with?
How is he doing?
I haven't talked to him in a little bit. I know he's been losing weight and stuff, as you know, man. As we were actually just saying earlier, we find out some new stuff, and I'm not going to spread rumors, but we find out some stuff about people we know for a while. We're like, oh, wait a minute, they're not going out, or hey, oh, wait a minute, they moved, oh, wait a minute, they don't do paranormal anymore. So it's hard to catch up with the old, So, but unless I knew he was doing good, so.
So, what else is how's your podcast going?
As you know, I guess I kind of followed suit doing what you guys do. I mean, I did the radio show with Paranormal King Ross Raposo there a couple of years back when it was just radio only, and his mom passed away and he went AWOL. So I didn't know what to do for a year and a half. I said, well, I'm going to do a podcast like the other guys. Fuck it. Seems like fun. And I'm going on almost 3 years now of talking to people from fucking Dustin Perry to Tony Spera and Judy Warren to Jay Hill coming up before Christmas. I'll have you on my show. So it's fun. And like I said, to kind of go back to where I'm living now, way up North Maine, middle of nowhere, Canada, it's nice to have quiet time. But I look forward to Thursday night to shoot the breeze with my friend, getting to meet new people. Everybody's got a story, you know.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Right. Yeah, it's from what I could tell, I mean, I try to catch your show when I can on Thursdays. And then you have some great guests, and it seems like you continue to, continue that relationship with those people, because I see other posts afterwards, like when you're at Paracons and all this other stuff. And you have a speaking event coming up soon, don't you?
Yes. Actually, Charles Rosenet, he's from the Shaman and the Showman with Thomas Patrick Gormley there. He does Paracon, and he gave me my first ever speaking thing at Salem State University 2 years ago, and I get to go on stage with Nate Elwell. You know Nate very well. And I was like, shit. So he was, want to come back? You want to speak? And we're going to be doing a paranormal investigation at an 1854 funeral home, the first ever done there. It's the Satanic Temple headquarters of the world.
Oh, that's right. I heard you talking about that on Brady. So,
it's a funeral home and a Satanic temple. So, I mean, you got to investigate that. I'll remember Rosary Beads. I'll definitely say a prayer or two and smudge myself. But
Right.
So yeah, that seems pretty good. Of course, Salem, as you know, East Coast, that's where it's at. It's the New Orleans of the East Coast, Salem, Witchville, and Pirate Central, and history galore. The first ever phone call was made there. Alexander Graham Bell made a phone call in Salem, number 1 to number 2. That's a fact. You can look it up. It's right there. So, of course, movie filming site, so to speak, at Salem State University College, la-di-da. Add that to my resume. As you know, my story from seeing my mom die to dying to myself to being homeless, you know it. So to beat all the odds and to still be here and to keep making a name for myself without selling myself out.
Right.
It's a win.
aren't you looking into maybe doing some singing again? Because you were in a death metal band called Culling the Herd, and I don't know if you're still or if you're gonna get back into that, or if you're
We did like a reunion thing because it's been a couple of years, and I made a CD with them. They were like, there's like a stoner band from Maine, and we ended up doing a whole festival, Herd Flock. That still goes
hmm
on. I've been out of the band for about 4 years now, and we made a CD, Hudson State University College in Bangor. I got to be in a recording studio, made 8 songs myself. So I did the thing with them, and I'm 46 now. I was a little winded after. But I mean,
right,
fucking Gene Simmons and these guys can play to the 80s. I can do it. But I'm not going to
right,
lie. The
right,
other guys, some of the guys didn't really want to. It was like a one time thing. None of them ever really wanted to leave state. So I guess I'm still open to singing if someone wanted to
yeah,
kind of bring it to the next level. I don't mind doing it for fun, but I always wanted to go
right,
on tour, go to Boston, do something.
right,
And
right, right,
so we were trying
right,
it, but it was like a one-time thing. They didn't want to keep going. So I was like, all right, which I'm wearing many hats. I got my truck now, so I'm doing my historically haunted tours again in Bangor.
right,
And got, of course,
right.
the vodcast, my booking agency, and just Adam the Historian Ghost Hunter on YouTube exploring. So my,
hmm
my
hmm
palette's full, or my plate's full, rather. But that
right.
still, man, you love music. You're a metalhead from way, yeah, you know what's up.
Yeah, I am. Um,
My music therapy is what you need.
so,
So I mean, I don't rule it out, but not right now, not really. I guess we'll say.
well, I'm looking at some of your posters for your podcast on Facebook, and it shows that you have the Clown Motel as one of your sponsors.
Yes. So there's three. There is a real clown motel, as you know, in Nevada,
Yeah.
and I'm actually friends with some of the actors, actresses, and even the director from that. And for, like I said, it's about 10, $15 a week. I'll let you sponsor my show. And they threw me a cool 50 and said, I want October. I said, you got all Halloween month. You got it. So it's Mary Kate basically with her photography, but she's one of the clowns in there, and she did the art makeup. It's the new film, Clown Motel: Three Ways to Hell.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, Jay. I mean, everybody does paranormal. I love talking to Shane Pittman and all these people. It's great. But I started getting into Hollywood, and now I'm going into like I've talked to like Sandy Johnson. That was Mike Myers' first kill in the 1968 Halloween. She was
Right.
also Playboy 74. So I talked to
Right.
Dr. Satan, Walter Fellin from Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, Marlon
Right.
Taylor from It, The Losers Club. So, he flies to Bangor and meets me outside, smokes a joint with me, and does an intro for my podcast for free.
Right. Right.
Sign my picture. I'm like,
Right.
shit, I'm chilling with Stephen King. That's my thing.
Right.
So it's hand in hand. And I said, if they can they're actually paying me to put their
hmm
name on my show. Like, what? So
That's a big deal. And I kind of told you about that a long time ago that you would be having some benefits to that.
I remember
But
that. I remember
but
when I first started,
I
you said, something big's on the way. And I thought, Jay's just being humble. He's being nice to me. Well, you are, because you're a nice
yeah.
dude. You are a nice dude, let's face it. But still,
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I have my
it's
moments.
I mean, you gave me, and I'm like, I'm gonna say nobody. What do you want to talk to me? Like, no, you're not nobody. People want to hear what you have to say. I was like, Jay, that was back in what, 2019,
Yeah.
2019, right after mom died.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and then
How wonderful that we forget, you know. That it just time flies. But
you ain't kidding me.
talking about the
2020.
Clown Motel, um, they contacted me on Instagram a couple times that they wanted me to come down there as an invitation, but it was just I don't make any money doing this. I don't have you know disposable income, so to speak.
I remember, I'm
So
gonna cut you off, but I remember you 2 years ago saying you wanted to go out west and do the Nevadas and do like the Wild
I
West type
did
of.
do that. I did go to
I
Tombstone.
remember. Okay, I
Um,
remember that.
that was surreal, just because the fact that I was standing in front of the Oriental Saloon where Wyatt Earp had frequented,
Wow.
and all those guys. I was standing out there leaning up on the walk boardwalk there, and under the awning, and I was standing there looking out into the street, leaning up against this post, thinking I've been here, and so it was really bizarre, but it felt I was comfortable right
Like in a
where
past
I
life,
was
been
at. You know what
there?
I mean?
Like in a past life, you've been there. You mean?
Maybe
Wow.
something, I don't know, but it was just surreal. And actually, like a year or two before, I had a dream of walking down a boarded sidewalk, like in the West, and I came across a building that had big, nice glass old windows, and I looked inside. That first night that I was there, I went to Big Nose Kate's restaurant,
Well,
and I ate some of the best food I've ever had.
I
Oh my
bet.
gosh. And so I walked, and then I was leaving to go back to the cabin straight down Allen Street. And I walked past one of these stores, and I get towards the end, and it was the same fucking building. It was the same glass. It was the same whatever. Everything that was in there was the same.
Same that you
I
say,
was like,
same vision, the
same.
same memory.
Yes. Right.
Wow.
So after that, after that, um, I actually in my dream there was something about a big house on a hill and the whole 9 yards with that. I don't remember what it was, but that moment right there was surreal. So, you know, have you ever come across something like that where you've been I've been here before?
Ooh, I've never been asked that. That's a good question. Um, Let me think for a second. Not that I've traveled millions of places, but I've gone some cool places, and I'm always in awe when I see something new, like the legend precedes itself. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right,
the
right.
weeping black statue, angel statue of Iowa City Cemetery, Iowa, when I went with Chris Sanders a long time ago, and you get to see that.
Right, right, right.
But as far as being a place and swearing I've been there, that's a good one. I don't. I'm trying to think if I can recall a time like that.
Well, it just
That's a good
because
one.
the fact that you're really good with history and you love history and you know history, so I would kind of consider that to be part of one of your previous lives. You know what I mean? That whole aspect of you knowing those that thing or that you can retain that information. You know, like when you talk about the history of Maine, or where the gangster got shot in the street,
Oh,
and stuff
Brady.
like that. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, so I mean, it's stuff like that you could kind of look at and think, you know, I really enjoy knowing that, or it didn't really take me long to find the information. It was, sometimes all that stuff just kind of floods into your brain, and yeah. But I mean,
It's like
with
the
your
legend
love of
precedes itself. You
history,
know what I mean?
is yeah,
Um, well, like Iowa, for instance, I didn't. I mean, I was fascinated by something that on the side of the road that, aside from a tiny little sign, I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 people just drive by that daily, not even knowing what the fuck it was. And it was a Bonnie and Clyde shootout site in Dexter, Iowa. It was an old fairgrounds place where they spent the night after it was closed and
yep,
stuff. And the next day, the cops found them, and that's where Clyde's brother died. It was the Bonnie and Clyde gang. So they got in a show with cops, and Clyde's brother got shot. They brought him to the local hospital, and he died at the hospital in Iowa. And Bonnie and Clyde got away, but there's a sign there:
right,
Bonnie and Clyde
right,
shootout, Dexter, Iowa, fucking 19 whatever, the 1970 or 60 whatever year. And it's like, wow, like to go there and it's like you can almost hear the gunshots. Does that make sense? Like you
right,
can almost
right,
feel like put yourself there. And it's a little
right.
thing, a little notch in history, but it was a shootout with the
You
cops
know,
and Clyde's brother died. Like what? So,
right. So there's been times where um I have random thoughts of like Bonnie and Clyde, and
ooh,
it was weird. Now, my mother's name was Bonnie,
oh,
and this was 1934. So I don't know. It's kind of weird, but with the whole, when did Bonnie and Clyde get shot? Do
I'll
you
just say,
remember
when
that?
was that? That was, I know that Al Brady became the number one most wanted in like 1936, and it said after Bonnie and Clyde and Dillinger and them died. So I want to say 20s. I was gonna headphones on.
Um, yeah, I know. I'm like kind of like going, okay, I gotta know Bonnie and Clyde. That
I mean,
was
obviously, it's hard because you can't guess everything to the T. Of, I mean,
right.
you can know
So
things.
they were kind of like folklore. They were their reign of terror was from 1932 to 1934.
Okay,
So
I just saw that now. Yes, during
yep.
the Great
So
Depression. Yeah,
right, right, right. So
so they get
there was
shot in 34,
right.
35.
There
Fucking Al
were a
Brady comes
lot
in
of
1936. This makes
there was
sense.
a lot of people that thought that they were like Robin Hoods, because they were robbing banks or giving money away or doing whatever. I get it, but the way they kind of like took that glam to me, they kind of took that glamorous side road where people were so influenced about that, and people were just praising them and saying, "Oh, it's funny," all that stuff. When the seediest side of it is pretty fucked up, It's pretty, them killing a cop and
Yeah.
and all of that and doing what they did, and it's kind of like I just I don't know. It's always a story that fascinated me, but on the other hand, it was kind of creepy,
But
you
here we are
know.
100 years later, and people are still dressing up like them for Halloween. We're talking about them
Yeah,
on a podcast 100 years later. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
I mean,
right, right,
unfortunately, sometimes the evil, the bad stuff sticks with you more than the good. I can't name you one decent person from back then. Maybe what Mother Teresa, I guess. But I can
right,
name you Bonnie and Clyde. I get you Charles Manson. We can do you
right.
fucking. You know what I mean? I mean, so
Al
unfortunately,
Capone,
Al
I mean,
Capone,
all
Billy the
right,
Kid,
right.
all these people stick out, and it's a fascination of that dark side. And I don't know, man.
That's a good question. What is it with the dark side of that? What is it that it has to be so serious and just
People love the Undertaker, the wrestler, coming to get your soul.
right?
The Undertaker. I mean, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and it's kind of like it's like
No, I've tried to figure that out too. It's like for people I don't, and we're not all psychopaths. Maybe down deep, I guess. But you know what I mean. I got no bodies buried in my backyard, but I sure as fuck know about H. Holmes. I sure know about
right,
Jack the Ripper. So I
right,
mean,
right.
Ted Bundy, your boy Ed
It's
Gein, where you're from.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't get me started on him. I had that interaction with him, unwanted interaction with him,
I remember you saying that a
a
couple
few
years back.
years
Yeah.
ago, and that it took me a few days to get him out of my mind. And
Weren't you
I
like
didn't
even in
even
the bed for
ask,
the
wasn't
first
even
day or
thinking.
something? I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I just remember laying there and waking up, and all of a sudden
I
he
remember.
flooded my brain. I'm like, and I didn't know anything about him. All I knew was that he was a serial killer, and that was it. And that's even though I was born in Wisconsin, but I moved away when I was 2. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I moved back, when I was in high school, then moved away and then moved back again. So I've been here now. This is the longest I've been in this state, was from 2012 to now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
So
Geneva.
yeah. So yeah, that was a whole. I mean, I could write a book on that. That sucked. That was just awful. I don't know why, but yeah, that was awful.
See, that's
But
another thing too
anyways,
that a lot of people in our field do. These psychic mediums, paranormal people, they go into houses wanting to be
yeah.
scared, and then they get something and go, "Oh shit, I didn't want this after all." I mean, you got to be
No.
careful. It's not
Yeah, you
Hollywood, guys.
have to be. Oh
Conjuring
yeah.
House isn't
No.
cool.
No.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Like you're
Right.
asking for
Right.
trouble.
I just don't. I don't see it. And it takes a lot nowadays. It takes a lot for me to get actually truly terrified. Unless I get more terrified when I'm playing a video game and I'm fighting zombies than I do going into actual haunted location. It's weird because I will play like zombie games, and when a zombie comes out of nowhere and I get the chills instantly. It's like it's a video game, but it's the premises that if people were actually to see this, yeah, then I'd be like, what the actual fuck, I'd be like, get me out of here, you know. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like yeah, we both kind of we grew up. We like the scary stuff. You like the horror movies. I like the paranormal stuff. I'm a Scooby Doo fan. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
like some
grew up.
comedy too. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I mean, it's just kind of like I always wanted Halloween for me. When let's say when I was, what was it, 13? I was 13. I was living in Missouri, and I knew that there was a old mansion type funeral home that was just right around this corner, not too far from the highway, but it was in the back roads. Okay, and
Ooh.
it had overgrown. It had a stone wall that went all the way around it, and it was creepy. And they used to have, like, it was somebody made it into a haunted house where they had a hearse parked out front, and they left the weeds and everything overgrown, and it was like vines on the whole building, and
Oh yeah.
it was like the
That's
backdrop
cool.
of a bottom of a bluff. It was really cool. And I was like, gosh, I just every time that when Halloween would come around, I would just be like, I want to go there. I think that'd be really cool and everything. And of course, my parents were like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I still remember that to this day.
Mm.
Okay. Now, years later, I found out that my grandparents, my dad's parents, were married in Barnhart, which is right where we lived when I lived there when I was 13. And we didn't know that. I didn't know that. My dad didn't even
Wow.
know that.
Wow.
It was just a random place where we could find a place to live because we were moving from Iowa. And
And
I
it
found
happened
it
to be the
by
same
accident.
town.
I found it by accident.
Or did you?
Yeah,
Did
that's what
something
I'm
lead you?
saying. Yeah, right, right, right. So I think there is all these connections. Now, that leads me to my next
Yeah.
question: of
Yeah.
have you ever met anybody that has that connection with you like that, or like a property that you automatically are like, I gotta be friends with this person?
It probably sounds cliche, and I'm not just saying it because she's right next to me, but it's got to be Heather. I've had girls in the past, obviously, and I've had friends. And I noticed one thing in this field too. A lot of people do paranormal things, and they don't bring in their other half. Well, I don't. You know, people don't bring in their wife, girlfriend. And I won't do half my shit without Heather because she's our first date was Friday the 13th at a movie theater watching Friday the 13th on in October. And then like a
Right.
week later, we go to the cemetery by Kenny Bunkport where George Bush's house is, the old president in Kenny Bunkport. And there's this graveyard. Went out there and I had my Mustang at the time. This thing chased us out the woods. I've seen a skinwalker with her. I've seen underwater lights with her. We spent all night at Lizzie Borden's and the other people canceled. And Leanne, before she died, was there. And she goes, "Oh, everybody else canceled. Don't die." And we had the whole house for $150. So I know it sounds cliche, but I'd say honestly, it's been 8 years now. And Heather, this fucking chick keeps me grounded. She's less scared of shit than I am. And she just knows to look for things. Does that make sense? I mean, like we just did a thing
Yeah,
Saturday.
she's got that straight line intuitive.
Yes. I mean, she
It's
doesn't.
actually it's an actual straight light line intuitive
Yeah.
where it's almost like, remember those little those 1970 Cadillacs that had those curb feelers
Yes. On the side.
on the sides where
Little
they would
antenna
scrape?
things. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yep. That's what she has. You know what I mean? In
That's
that
wow.
sense.
That's a good way to put it. That's
You know what I mean?
she'll
So
look at
that
she'll be like, "Don't go in there." I'm like, "What do you mean? It's not that bad." And I just don't, or just don't come
right.
down the
So
street. And
that
I'll go, "Why?" And then
it's
also there's an
just
accident or something,
it's like your
and I
curb
missed it.
feelers. Your curb
Dude, I
feelers
like
going
that.
off.
That's funny. That's a good way to put it.
But I mean, that's I use analogies a lot. So I mean, that's the best way to describe it because of the fact that that lighted curb feeler, that it's just that whole, you know what I mean?
I
It's
like
a
you threw it on
trouble
a
feeler.
Cadillac though. You threw it as a nice car at least. So it was a nice little pimp car.
Right.
That's good.
My grandpa
Um,
used to have a lot of Cadillacs, so
Oh my god, I remember I was like there yesterday. Yeah, the thing. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I have not that I don't like with you earlier. The worst fear for me it isn't a fucking abandoned asylum. It's the grocery store at 5 p.m. on a Saturday. That's my fear. I don't want to go in there because there's
really?
all these live humans. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared of
Yeah.
humans. So I go to a morgue or a graveyard with Heather, and we'll go. And there's just certain things like, okay, I think it's time to go. And I'm like, really? It's time. And I don't question her anymore. She goes, time to go. Okay, Heather. I follow her
Right.
lead because
Right.
she saves my ass more than not. And I think you got to have that. As far as guys go in Maine, it's tough because a lot of people aren't around me that I know. I'd say I like this dude Nomar. I don't know. You ever heard of Nomar Slevik, UFO guy? He'd be great on your show.
Yeah.
He's a paranormal UFO. He's written books. He goes to look for aliens and people or monsters and shit. He's a Mainer
Okay.
dude. Nomar. He's good.
So you would know you this. Does Maine have a lot of serial killers per capita?
That we know of. I tell you, there's some places where Jay. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say on camera where I live. It's by Bangor, but by Mount Katahdin. Population, I think there's like 1,100, no streetlights. There's some houses I wouldn't turn around to make a U-turn if you fucking paid me. There's a river called Mattress Road. It's on the other side of this river. And me and Heather went down it once, and this loose dog was running down the road, and there's just houses and just so. But as far as serial killers, there's not really. I know H.H. Holmes is from New Hampshire. When they
Right. Right.
the murder castle in Chicago, he's from New Hampshire. But as far as Maine, I mean, the only one I can think of really is Stephen King. He's pretty fucking nuts, but he hasn't killed anybody. I mean, obviously there's people, but yeah, I mean, I love Maine. It's very rural, very quiet, but there's some crazy eyed people in the state.
Right.
And I think,
So I mean, so let me
yeah,
resurf. Let me redo that question then. So maybe it's not just Maine. I would say maybe the Upper East Coast. You know what I mean?
I've been to the Boston Strangler's grave in Peabody, Mass. Actually, yeah, that's right next to Salem. Um, but not a crazy lot. There's vampire lore. There's like a vampire, Mercy Brown, that was buried. She died, and like 3 months later, her brother was bitten, and they thought it was her, so they dug her up, and her heart was still in her body, and her blood was still warm. So they took her heart out, put it in a blender, and
Oh,
made her brother drink it, and her brother still died.
yeah.
I swear to God, Mercy Brown, Rhode Island. Check it out. There's some in
That's
Connecticut, of course,
crazy.
the witches, UFOs, Betty and Barney Hill. First ever government acknowledged UFO abduction, 1956, in black and white couple in New Hampshire. I've been in the house where they both died because he died of a brain hemorrhage 8 years later, and she lived to be 93. She could recite the whole Milky Way, Jay. She could do
Yeah.
everything on a map. She says she was abducted. This Betty Hill. They have her dress on display at New England College. So there's a lot in New England. Even the lore's Wendigo. You got all these alien creatures and shit. But as far as like scary human people, there's really not a lot that I know of besides King.
There is.
I get
No,
to meet last year.
I'm just telling you right now that there is. From what I could see, that there is. That's why I asked if you knew of
Really,
any. I could see it in Maine. It's crazy.
I feel like
I'm
there
not
could
gonna.
be, but
I don't know any. I mean, I'm not seeing any faces or nothing like that. I'm just saying it's just the energy that I feel like maybe there could be
first
some
ever
story
recorded
behind it.
haunting,
Yeah,
1656. First ever was Nellie something Nellie in Searsport, Maine, and so I see it. There's a lot of land up here, and there's a lot of reason why too. Like my town has 2 cops. The town next to me in Quebec and all those other towns, they don't have any cops. Nothing. No police, no
really.
school, nothing. It's just literally
So if
nothing.
something were to happen to you where you say, "Oh, I cut my 2 fingers off," and then you got to wait for an ambulance for an hour.
You better know someone that knows how to sew. Yeah, you you better know someone that knows how to sew. It's that's the thing is too. I didn't realize moving up there from Southern Maine, a lot of these fucking people take care of themselves. They're hunters, fishermen. They cut wood. A lot of them have wood fireplaces. They all have trucks. Luckily, I have a truck now. Came with a story, but that's for another show. But I got a
Right,
truck now because it is, man. Maine's great, but for 5 months of the year, man, you better have thick skin or you're fucked.
right, right.
So,
So what
and,
made you move
yeah,
up there?
I guess Heather always wanted to get away, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say the price on here, but my rent is ungodly cheap. I pay literally what I paid probably in 1993 for rent.
Oh
One
wow,
moment.
okay.
Oh yeah, and that's no shit. So after my mom died, and of course homeless and everything, we ended up selling our house. I ended up getting enough money to buy a trailer. I bought a mobile home cash, and I bought my car, and I moved up there. And my rent is literally it's low. It's way under $1,000 a
Yeah,
month, put it that way. So
right,
for a two
right,
bedroom trailer that I own, it's pretty nice. So it's quiet, but that's why it's cheap, dude. There's no Walmart, there's no McDonald's, there's no. I got to work 2 towns over. There's not a lot. So
it's pretty. From what I can gather, I'm kind of viewing it right now. Just it's really dark up there.
it's always
Like
dark. And I'm
I'm
elevation
just
wise,
like, I mean, like tree lines. It's just
it's
creepy
windy,
dark.
it's dark, it snows longer. Like I'll get snow in October and it'll last till May. As to where Heather gets
Yeah,
snow maybe December till March. Down in Maine, I get 3 more months of snow easily. But it's far. But and if you look at the elevation too, like mountain wise, I think I'm like, can you hear me, Heather? She got her headphones on. It's probably a good 1,000 feet higher than where she is. She's in like Orchard area by
oh,
the
okay,
ocean. I live in the mountains. I live way like my
okay.
ears pop on the way home when I'm driving home because it's
So
not
it's got to be beautiful scenery
fine,
out
but
there
over
too.
3 hours, dude. We had foliage way before anybody. There's always moose walking around. We have wild rabbits. There's rabbits that jump around my yard that aren't people's rabbits.
Wabbits.
Wabbits, wascally wabbits, wild rabbits, dude. Yeah, it's Maine that most people don't live. I tell people where I
Right,
live in,
right.
and you live where? People from Maine have no idea where this town that I live in is. It's
Right,
by
right.
Dexter, where they shot scenes of Creep Show 2.
Now, are there any old like Victorian houses up there?
There's some old stuff. There's I got a friend of mine who has her father owns 3 funeral homes in a town called Lincoln, and he said one of them is haunted. And he wants to
Uh-huh.
go investigate it. It's never been investigated before.
There you
Your
go.
camera just flashed, by the way, like it did the other night with Brady.
Yeah, it's just a glitch. It's an
You sure?
actual. Yeah, yeah, I did because when I looked back at it, what it did was it like zoomed into my picture and flashed my picture. It was
Oh,
me. It was me that.
oh,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
my
yeah.
hopes up.
But
But
yeah,
you're
no.
honest, but that's a part two. You're honest. You're not like that one time when your shit was going off. And we talked about Lizzie Borden. That was
Yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah.
That was
Oh yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was real. Yeah. No, I mean the house that I live in. I live with my wife and my mother-in-law. So it's kind of just, this house is really protected. And so there's never been anything here that I have ever experienced because everywhere that I've ever lived has had something. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yes,
See,
everywhere
you
I've
think where I
ever
live, living
lived.
alone, dude, it is so fucking quiet. I don't hear sirens because there's no siren. I hear a train in the distance once in a blue. So I'm always like, I'm ready to hear something. I don't hear
Right.
shit.
No, it's kind of like what Heather and you have that connection. So it's kind of like her protection kind of flows over you. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Makes
like
sense.
that. It's kind of like that whole mystery, like like smoke surrounding people. You know what I mean?
I
So
like that. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, because I was able to see that a long time ago. That you guys
You
have
told me
that
my mom, even
relationship.
my mom, and I feel like a lot of times my mom saves my
Oh
ass. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I drive 3 hours
Don't get me
alone.
started on your mom.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I don't get enough time. But she likes you, that's for sure.
I
But
know,
I
I
mean,
know.
but I mean, like to drive 3 hours north by myself, it's that's a long fucking drive, man. God forbid something
That is a
happens,
drive, dude.
and that's every week. I leave work to work at 7 hours Friday. I drive. It's about 2.5 hours. So I work a little south of where I live, so it's about 2.5 instead of 3. But I leave work Friday, bro, and it takes me 2.5 hours to get here. Tomorrow morning, I got to work at 7 a.m. I'm leaving tomorrow at 4:30 a.m. to go to work. I'm leaving Heather's. I'm here now.
Mm,
The things we do for
that's
love, man. I
crazy.
tell you. So
Well,
I'm trying to get her up
that
there. It's hard because there's not, like she said, with her kid and just everything else. There's not a lot of hospitals. There's not a lot of stuff, and we need that right now. So
speaking of hospitals, there aren't a lot of hospitals up there. Are there
no,
clinics up there?
there's a Mayo Clinic. It's called in Dover Foxcroft. It's two towns united as one. Dover Foxcroft. Kind of a cool name. Reminds me of like a military code. Foxcroft, Niner, Echo. So they get a hospital there, and then 45 minutes to my east, about 48 minutes, is Bangor, where Stephen King's kids were born. That
Okay,
hospital. So I try
okay.
to go to Bangor a lot if I do anything because obviously King's house. I'll go outside and read Pet Cemetery, hoping he comes out and sees me. But also that's where the goods are. That's where the Walmart is. That's where the Starbucks is. If you need your
Hmm.
shit,
Right,
Dunkin', all that
right,
stuff. So
right, right.
just
Um,
45 minutes. This is not a bad ride. I'll bring a joint with me and I'll just go and
right, right. Well,
so
that's the whole thing. I mean, it's if you enjoy the drive. I mean, I used to work an hour to work and an hour from work. You know what I mean?
oh,
So it
that's
was two
rough.
hours out of my day. You know what I mean?
Every day? Oh, that's rough.
Every
Ooh.
day, an hour to work and an hour from work to home.
Oh,
But
yep.
I mean, I did that for 9 years.
Wow.
And I needed a change. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like I like driving, but when I went down to Kentucky to go to Waverly, which I
Ooh.
just recently did in August, it's 6.5 hours for me,
One way? Oh
and I
boy.
one way, and I made it in about closer to 7. So and that it was good being around, Kelly and K2 Paranormal and all those guys, and it was great. It was kind of a surprise for some people, so it was fun. Um, that building, I don't know if I would go again. They're wanting to do an overnight thing next year, and I don't know if I want to go just because of the fact that when I was in there, my whole body hurt so bad.
No way.
All my joints, everything hurt. I had a headache. I had everything. I felt
Wow.
weak, and I just didn't want to. It was like I just didn't. It was almost like, how when you go outside and it's super cold without a jacket,
Yeah.
and then your feet are cold and your hands are cold, and you're like, but you got to try to finish what you're doing, and you're like, shit. The longer I go, the worse it's gonna be. That's the way it felt.
Yes. Oh
You know.
no. Well, that's not
I mean,
fun.
I didn't really experience anything but that physical aspect of it. And it could be, it could have been a different things. It could have been the drive. It could have been I didn't really sleep, before we left. It could have been, it could have been a lot of different things. But I know that on some spiritual level, that's part of what it was. Because I was getting pain that I didn't normally get. And I'm like, yeah, that's
Wow.
not, and then I would not get it again. I'm like, yeah, okay. After I left, it was gone. I'm like, okay.
I was it sounds like you're feeding off other people's pain that were there previously.
The main thing that I got off Waverly Hills was disappointment because there were so many people that were in despair, they were disappointed in themselves or their doctors or whoever, that they weren't able to be cured. You know what I mean? There was so much disappointment. That's the word that kept falling through my head: disappointment, disappointment. It was just they were just so disappointed in how things ended up the way they did. And it was
Wow.
very sad, and I felt a lot of sadness there.
Was
My
it like
favorite,
tuberculosis or something?
yeah, it
Was it
was
a
a
tuberculosis?
tuberculosis. Yeah, 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 yeah. But
Okay.
there were other people there with mental issues and all that. It wasn't just that. But um, my favorite part of being there was the open windows where they would have the beds sitting outside their rooms. I don't know if you've seen a picture. If you look at Waverly Hills and it's got these open windows, they're stone. It's like a balcony,
Wow.
and it's got all these big, huge, square open windows for fresh air to come through. And so it was like them being outside. And I walked that whole corridor from one end to the other, and I felt a lot of different things, but it was more like there was some people that were actually happy to be out on that deck, to do that, to experience that fresh air and this and that. You know what I
Right.
mean? But it was just it was so emotional there. It was crazy. I mean, it was literally, yeah. I protected
Well,
myself as best as I could, but it was really crazy.
I was saying, well, someone like with you, with your abilities and stuff, you absorb the feelings,
I
good or
did,
bad.
and
It's not like it's like just,
hence
yeah.
hence why my body felt like I got hit by a truck.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I was actually struggling to walk up and down stairs. It was. But I wasn't letting
Wow.
anybody know. I was just kind of doing my thing, but I was getting irritated real quick. Because of
I
that,
bet.
I don't deal with that. I was more miffed that I was in that much pain. I wasn't able
Wow.
to enjoy where we were at or do what we were going to do. I had no patience for anybody. I was
Wow.
I was, I was snappy, and
How'd
that's
you feel when
not
you got
me.
home and shit though? Like 2 days later, you feel okay?
Um, it took me at least 2 or 3 days because on my way home, I was driving from Kentucky back to Wisconsin. I was in that, what do they call that coma zone, that driving zone, where you're like in a coma
Oh,
almost. You know what
yes.
I mean?
You just
Like
like
you were
you just
so you're
there.
you're
Yeah.
just, yep. That's the way I was, and I was
I know what
like,
you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it. Yeah.
yeah, and I was just, it sucked. So I don't know if I could drive far away again. I did it twice this year. I went to Ohio and then I went to Kentucky, and I don't know if I could do it again.
We
I
didn't
mean,
fight that in Ohio,
those
did
were,
you?
huh?
You didn't fight that in
No,
Ohio, though. You didn't feel that bad.
no, it was okay in Ohio. I mean, that was my first driving to Ohio, and it was kind of an easy trip because I just went around everything.
You go to
You
Ohio
know,
State Reformatory?
no, it was Broadwell Funeral,
I don't know if I've heard of that.
and
Interesting.
what was it? It was on the outskirts, on the bottom side of Cincinnati. I can't remember the name of the
Ooh.
town. I can't remember the name, but it was a old funeral home from 1911, and we stayed overnight. I slept on the main floor in the waiting room.
Oh,
Yeah,
man. Brutal.
nothing happened.
Nothing. Hmm.
No, No,
That's one thing
we
too. It's
had
hit or miss. You know, I mean,
yeah, and we had a few things here and there, and I felt different around certain areas, but it was not. Well, I had more feelings of activities of outside, and
hmm,
there was something buried in the backyard of this house,
wow,
but there was no documentation. But I know it was there because I
wow,
kept looking at it and I kept being drawn to it, and I don't know what it was, but
wow.
it was crazy. But yeah, so
Hmm.
um, it was an experience. You know what I mean? Um, I just I don't know. I want to be able to do those things, but when you go to investigate and you want to experience that because you see all the pictures of everybody having a great time doing this or doing that, and it's kind of like, yeah, I'd like to be there. But when you put yourself in that position, it's like, yeah, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. You know, how many times have you experienced that, Adam?
This is
You know,
honestly, I'm not going to bullshit you, dude. The whole, 10 people signing up and bringing gummy bears and TikTok and going live on Facebook and all that shit. It's great, but honestly, not really. I'd rather not. Heather and I
yeah,
go to these things. And then when we do that, we haven't in a while, we'll go off on our own. I'll grab her and go, let's go to the back. And like we went to
right,
Moultonboro, Massachusetts, is the Lewis Oliver house. They found notes
yeah,
of treason there. Abraham Lincoln did in a closet. Not Abraham Lincoln. Who the fuck was it that found notes of treason? Benjamin Franklin found notes of
oh,
treason that started the Revolutionary War started because of this house in mass, and everybody's inside and they're all going, who took my gummy bear? Well, I don't know. That's my Sprite. I go, how can you hear anything? You're all talking like it's a party. So I said, Heather, let's go. So we went out back. There's a Native American burial ground out back. We walked out back where people see orbs and shit, and we heard some shit. And do I need to put it on
mhm,
Facebook? No, because I experienced it. I don't need to prove it to anybody. So we'll go to these places for us. I want the history. I want to find
right,
something. I don't care. It's all great. These other people, it's all well and good what they do. And Facebook, I'm on Facebook, so I don't want to talk. But when it comes to this
right,
personal shit, like we went to this library real quick. We got invited last week, and I went. And I told the guy I don't have any equipment. I go 9 out of 10 people that hear and see ghosts sit at home eating cereal, making love to their wife, sleeping, watching TV. They don't sit there going, "What's my name? What color's my shirt?" Those people don't really see ghosts. It's the ones that don't do. Am I wrong? Look at the people
yeah,
that say they see ghosts. Well, I was at home making a bologna sandwich and this ghost. So I'm at home and I'm just waiting, and I talk out of the blue, and I get some good reactions, and I don't need a picture to go look at the orb, guys. I just know what I saw, and I'm fucking happy. I'll go home like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, not to change the subject, but just
right,
even in Maine, Lizzie Borden, Conjuring House, all that stuff, Amityville, all that stuff's great. But Maine's got stuff from the 1700s. I went by a graveyard on the way to Bangor, about my first year
yeah,
moving up there 2 years ago. So I stopped at the graveyard in LaGrange, Maine, the old ZZ Top song, LaGrange, you know? So I
yeah.
stopped in this LaGrange, Maine place, dude. And there's this little tiny graveyard with no signs, no markers, like 10 plots. And I go up there and I see a thing there and it says this dude, 1985, bomb squad, killed in action. This
Oh
guy
wow,
died in a bomb squad in a bomb, dude. And there's no one around there, nothing. So I sat with an hour with him, you know. He didn't touch me, no. But you know what? I paid some respect. I saw some cool shit. Every time
right,
I tell them that story, they go, wow. Because
right, right, right,
I think spirits need to be known. Just doesn't need to be a famous person. I'm so sick of people who's going to buy the Conjuring. I don't give a fuck who's going to buy the
right,
Conjuring.
right,
I'm not trying to swear. I'm not
right.
trying to be like that. But I think you and I are past that whole.
Yeah,
That's you
yeah,
know what I mean. We're trying to help people. We're trying to see the forgotten, not so much the movie stuff.
right,
Which,
right, right.
and I think
We
that's
would
what people.
seriously love to be at a place like Gettysburg. You know what I mean? Me and you walking in Gettysburg and then
Oh my
just,
god.
documenting everything,
Oh
because
my
I
god.
know that, I mean, there's been so many times, it happens probably at least a couple times a month, if not almost every other week, where Gettysburg pops into my head, and then all of a sudden I get all these emotions, these feelings of you guys got to come, you gotta get come down here, and
No one
there's
talks
so
about
many
Gettysburg
things.
unless it's the bash. No one else talks
Yeah,
about Gettysburg. I've been 3 times and I've heard gunshots of the thing. I told the guy, the tour guy, I go,
yeah,
"Is there a thing going on?" He goes, "No, no, that's just a gunshot." I go, "Just a gunshot?" He goes, "That happens a lot." So there's no parades going on, but we're hearing gunshots. I've been to the
right,
field,
right,
and it's
right.
pretty. And I haven't seen all of it. I saw where the main battalion was, the New York battalion. I've been to Devil's Den, a couple places, but Gettysburg, dude. Every time I go, I cry. It takes my breath away.
I want to be able to
That's wild.
document places that aren't like on the map. in Gettysburg. I want to document people's houses that aren't, you know, known. You know what I mean? And I want to be able
Like the
to
girl that
do
died by
that
the
with,
stray bullet. Much love to her.
yeah,
I get it. But
right.
there's
You're right.
30
You know
other
what I
houses
mean?
that are going, I'm over here.
It's just I
So,
want to be able to, walk past, graves that don't have markers. I want to be able to acknowledge that. I want to be able to hear the stories behind that. I'm sure that there's tons of smaller books that are written about the Battle of Gettysburg that are in Gettysburg Library or wherever it is that people just don't know about, that are forgotten history. And I
yeah.
want to be able to fix that, but I want to be able to do it where I can afford to do that. You know what I mean? So
Unfortunately, it costs money. Right.
yeah, I'm seriously been thinking about doing another campaign for a GoFundMe or something, because I really feel my heart is there, but I just, you know me, I try to be as humble as I can, and trying to do a campaign for financial reasons, it kind of goes against me. You know what I mean?
But
Not against me,
it's
but
what do you do if you don't though? If you don't, you don't
right,
go. So you
right,
want to, but you're not
right,
using people. You just,
right, right. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, yeah. So yeah, I would love to be able to. If there's anybody out there that's listening that wants to be able to fund this documentary, this trip, contact me. You could contact me on Studio Six Media on YouTube, or um, you could contact me on TikTok or wherever. I mean, just hook me up with something positive so that I can do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So, and I throw that out there, and not that I'm expecting anything, but you know what? Throwing stuff out to the universe is important.
if you don't
You
say it, it's
want,
not, no one knows. Yeah.
right, right. And so, but yeah, with you, um, having you by my side, that would be really pretty cool.
That would
To
be a
be
cool
honest with
trip.
you.
And as much as everything's documented, people right now love their ghosts. They love their histories more now, I think, than ever in these time and
Right,
days.
right,
So to get someone there, and especially with America, who knows the whole fate of America? I'm not going to get political, but goddamn, America's all, we don't know what's going on. So I think to go
right,
back to our roots is maybe to teach people our history, maybe needed. And it's not for naught, man. It's not a bullshit thing. This is life. Gettysburg built this country. Let's face it.
right,
So
right. That was a deciding factor in a lot of different things, you know?
yeah.
And the storylines. I mean, there's been a couple, I mean, and then not to get political, but did you ever see that movie with Matthew McConaughey? What was it? Freeman, or was it, God, what was that? I can't remember
Hmm.
the name of the
I
movie,
love
but
him.
you
He's a good
gotta,
actor too.
but yeah, Matthew McConaughey. Now he's an American, and I love Matthew McConaughey because I think that he's just, I don't know, when if you listen to him, I mean, we liked him in Dazed and Confused. I mean, that
All
was
right, all right, all
that was
right. I was just gonna say
that was
that.
that was
But I
classic.
mean, even these car
Um,
commercials he does, he's got the voice, he's got the thing. You stand behind him, he's got the look and shit. Yeah, yeah.
you know,
McConaughey, he's an old school one. That's a good one.
right? Yeah, and most definitely, I mean, and it's just one of those things where you know they make movies nowadays where they're starting more so and talk about the history and the true story, like Bass, that um Western lawman. God,
Really?
man, my brain is just not wanting to work. Um, Holy
That's
crap.
you
Um,
remember you remember all of it when the show's done.
yeah, what? Yeah, it'll be. I'll get off here, and it'll be like, and it'll come to me immediately.
Boop, 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 boop,
Uh,
boop. Oh yeah, you'll be texting me. Oh, it's this by the way. Oh, it's that by the way.
free that movie from Matthew McConaughey, Free State of Jones.
Free State of Jones. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. No.
Free State of Jones. Yeah, you got to. I'm gonna send you that link to that because
Interesting.
it's a good thing to watch. I really like it. But yeah, so there's been a lot of different things, movies made about, Gettysburg, and how, what Gettysburg became afterwards, and even before,
Gettysburg Address. Yeah.
and look at even the Revolutionary War. I mean, that whole there's so much history on that on the east coast of the country that I mean, you couldn't have you don't ha- you wouldn't be able to do it in a month. It would probably take you longer to do. You know what I mean? And you know all the hot spots.
Well, then that's why I kind of like the name, is even though I did it because someone said, "Hey, I'm the historian ghost," and I go, "That's cool." When you really digest it, though, it's like I'm a historian ghost. I'm the history of ghost. Like I'm hunting. You know what I mean? Like you're looking for the history of the ghost, not so much the ghost, but the history that is a ghost. You're trying to bring
Right.
back the Plymouth Rock history. You're trying to bring
Right.
back the
Right. Right.
colonization history and
And
New
what
England.
was that spirit? What was that spirit story?
Right.
At that time. That is what you're trying to get at. Is that yeah? You don't know. It's not only that you're a paranormal investigator, but you're also a history investigator, and you want to know how did that person get to this point where either they
Right.
lost their lives or they did something miraculously, wherever in Gettysburg or in New York or in Florida or wherever. You know what I mean? I mean
Ties all
the
over.
the
Yeah.
the defining moment the defining moment of a spirit's demise, you know what I mean? And finding out the truth and letting people know that this is the way history was. This is the way history should be taught. This is the way
There's
history should
so much
be
shit people
remembered.
don't know. There's so much people don't
Right.
get about things that was, just little things. And I get it seems like just like Jeopardy trivia, like Parcheesi, Trivial Pursuit trivia.
Right.
So isn't it kind of neat to know that the inventor of what we know as chewing gum was from Bradford, Maine? John Curtis made the first ever spruce chewing gum in 1895 in Maine. Went into
There you
Portland,
go.
and that's where Wrigley's and Spearmint Chew and all that shit stems from. Is this
Yeah.
fucking guy making gum out of birch syrup from trees?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I live about I found out because I drove by and it said, "Oh, this is Bradford, Maine, the birthplace of chewing gum." I go, "Oh." So I go to the historical society, look up stuff. I go to their one store to get spruce gum, and they don't carry it. I go, "You're the birthplace of spruce gum, and you don't have it." I'm like, "Okay." So, but yeah, Bradford, Maine, man. So little things. It's not haunted, but the history is
Right.
haunting. In that sense.
Right.
It's
The
neat, right?
history to remembering the history in that aspect is like going back in time yourself to put yourself there to say, what were they doing? What was it like to, you know what I mean? It's a remembrance is what it
What
is.
were they thinking? Is this going to be around in
Right.
100 years? Are people going to like this? Are people
Right.
going to make bubble? Is it going to be commercials about
And
fucking?
who's to say that if that
Who got
idea that that person had actually came to fruition with the, you know what I mean? And then we go back to that general store from, late 1800s or early 1900s or whatever
Yes.
and say they kept this. This is what this is now, you know what I mean? And it's like,
There are
yeah.
spirits in that. Just because, the guy
Yeah.
didn't die from suicide or get shot, ghosts can still be around because they miss the place, man. This guy could be around his own grave
Right,
somewhere.
right.
You don't know, man.
Right,
So
right. And there's
it's
ones
worth a
that have
look.
crossed over that do come back to visit,
Yep.
and in certain circumstances or whatever, you know what I mean? So that it's not like they're bound that they only can be in one spot. You know what I mean? So,
People see
but
Hollywood in what we do, Jay. They go to places and
I
they expect
know.
something to jump out, and it's demonic. It's a
Y-
demon. It's demonic. No, it's
Right,
not.
right.
Just chill out.
I
If the guy was an
right.
asshole and he's a human, he's probably an asshole as a ghost. He's not a demon. Chill
So
out.
if
You don't
they
want a
actually
demon.
did
It's
an
just
actual movie, if they actually did Hollywood did an actual movie of like a paranormal investigator of like us, and it'd be pretty damn boring because they would they would just be like all the scary stuff.
going through hours of footage and hours of video just to watch,
Right. Right.
doo-doo-doo.
To watch paint dry,
3 hours later. Like, okay.
Eh,
Yeah, yeah. So
So
it's yeah,
yeah.
this no, no,
Yeah.
no. That's why I dig the
But
history because the
history
worst to worst, I went to a place that was invented. The chewing gum was invented. I mean, I saw a ghost, but I saw the history of it. That's why I try to get something
right.
out of everything. Otherwise, what am I doing?
Right. Right. It's this passion that you have for history because the fact that you're not looking for jump scares. You're not looking for that. You're looking for that wow that
Yes.
I did not know that. And that is so freaking cool. And I'm going to share it with people. If people don't like it, I don't care. I thought it was really cool.
It's my personal journal. Seeing you get it, but 9 out of
Yeah,
10 times people like
yeah,
Jay Hill get it and like it. I don't need 900 followers, but like, okay,
right,
real quick, I go to Hancock, Maine, named after the president Hancock. Maine's got towns: Van Buren, fucking Clinton, Washington, all these
right.
towns named after presidents, and one Lincoln. Where the funeral homes are named after Abraham Lincoln. So we went to Hancock, Maine, where that's where the Pet Cemetery house is. When Gage gets killed by the truck, Gage, wah, wah, in Pet Cemetery, the
Yeah,
original. On that very
yeah,
road, Point Road, where my tours go, historical haunted tours, guys, look me up on Facebook. I digress. On the
yeah.
beginning of that road, I turn around and I see a little turnaround with a sign. I go, what is that? It's an abandoned train railroad tracks that the Bilderbergs and all these rich hoity-toits took to go to Bar Harbor in Maine back in like 1843. It's on this website, and the train tracks are still in the ground. It's a walking trail. So I grabbed her.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh my God, it's a present. It's like a uppity hidden railroad system that Bilderbergs and all these rich people from New York used when they came to Maine to go to Bar Harbor. That they took off in Hancock
Right.
on the same road as Pet Cemetery. Come on, Jay. You don't think I fucking did
All right. I mean,
backflips
yeah.
doing that?
Right. 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 So that's the type of stuff that will give you those
Yeah,
chills of that is so cool,
it's
you know.
wild.
And but we need more people to speak about that. You know what I mean? And it's just there's too many of these people that just want the jump scares and they don't and they're telling history wrong because it didn't happen that way. They said, "Oh, it happens this way because so and so said it." It's like, do you actually have a old document that actually says that? I mean, or do you have a book, or do you have references? Do you have, you know what I mean? I
Because
want to be able to
people used to hit
find,
me up with
yeah, I
that.
want to,
But
yeah,
that's why
I want to
if you
be
look at
able
my
to find that.
pictures, you go in comments and I get screenshots of things, or I take pictures of things from books and I put it in my. I got 14 comments per picture, and it's all screenshots of this is why it happened. This is a picture of Al Brady getting shot in the
Right,
street. It's
right,
Nick Hoover standing
right,
over him on Center Street in
right,
Bangor. I get the proof. So people go, "Hey, is this?" Then they see my comments and go, "Oh, forget it. He's right." So I've covered my ass
right,
because I remember
right,
because people call
right,
you out.
right,
So
right.
better be
So yeah,
prepared.
um, yeah. So there's so many different things. Lately movie stars, like I was saying, like Matthew McConaughey, even Keanu Reeves. I mean, he's got, I'm a big fan of his, and he's into the paranormal. And I would love to sit down and pick his brain just for five
No
minutes.
way.
I would love to do that just because of the fact that he is he's got some stories.
I
And,
bet.
you know, now can you imagine having either Matthew McConaughey or, you know, talking about Civil War or talking about, paranormal with Keanu Reeves, and walking down Getty's, conversation of the history of
Something that I can
of
be on the same
things that
level with him at.
we didn't know.
I can talk to him
Right.
on that
You know
level
what
because
I
I get it.
mean?
Yeah, I
Right.
get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know what I mean? So it's like that would be entertaining to people who don't know about history or know
Yeah,
about. I mean, they see an actor, they see, it doesn't necessarily have to be an actor. It could be somebody that knows that or has that knowledge
yeah,
of things that happened there in that location or other locations or other places where history happened, or repeated itself or was a devastation or tragic, you know what I mean? Tragedy or
yeah,
whatever. But people can emphasize the importance on stories not told or
yeah,
what people may not realize, and what do you think people will do with that information? They take that information, they're going to think about it, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, that's really cool." That's really. Are they going to tell other people if it's a good story? Why not?
yeah.
That's kind of networking. So let's network history.
I like that. I like that.
let's
I
let's
like that.
let's network history in in real time. You know what I
Instead
mean?
of talking about so and so did this and so and so did that and he did that,
Right,
you believe he said that? It's just gossip, bullshit,
right,
drama. I'd rather know
right,
about history and ghosts. I don't care about fucking who's sleeping with who. I don't care. So
right,
yeah, it's
right.
yeah, you know what I mean. And unfortunately, as much as I love paranormal, some of these things I've gone to, I've heard people, oh, so and so was there and so and so, and this guy was
Who
drunk and did that. I go,
cares?
what the fuck are you
Yeah.
guys there for? Aren't you there for the ghosts? Are you there to fucking lie to each other's
So get
back?
the hookup. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's
I
just
don't.
yeah.
So I just, yeah, like you said, less is more. And I think if people could concentrate on the real shit, it'd be a lot more entertaining, I think. But
Yeah, I would
yeah,
agree.
I agree, Jay. It's true. It's that's what it's about. It's cool when some
Yeah,
dude's got a ghost story, like, or like when me, I love professional wrestling, and I see a wrestler talking about like a haunted place. I'm like, oh shit, I want him on my show now. I want to talk about ghosts with him.
right,
Like, he's cool. He's on my level. You know what I mean? It's something
right,
that we
right,
know about, and we can enter that world. And yeah,
right.
that's fun. I like that.
Yeah, I would
I had
love. I'd
no
love to be
idea
able to
that.
do that. You know, yeah, and I would totally be into that whole thing with the history. I'd
I had
love
no
to
idea
tell
Keanu
stories
Reeves
of
did that.
people. Yeah. Oh yeah, he
No idea.
Keanu Reeves is a down to earth, humble guy that that's into the paranormal. I mean,
No
one of my
clue.
favorite movies of his was Constantine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
that
thinking
was a
movie. That's a
badass
thinking man's movie.
movie.
That's right. I haven't seen that in forever. Constantine, he was in that. That's
Yeah.
right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Holy
So
fuck!
yeah. Yeah. So
I'll have to watch it
there's
again.
some people that there are some actors in Hollywood that I do um look at as in they would have something to bring to that the history field or the paranormal field or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So but yeah, but anyways, so it's been an hour, man. Hour and a
Holy
minute.
shit!
Yeah,
Wow.
dude.
Well, I feel like you know what's funny. I almost forget. I almost feel like we're just on a video chat call. I forgot we were on a podcast. We're just shooting the shit like friends. So those
Right,
are the best
right.
podcasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Most
Well, can I
definitely.
play, let me
But
play host and ask you. Let me play host and ask you a question real quick before we go.
okay,
Um,
okay. Let's flip
what's
the
scary?
switch.
Well, yeah, what's the scariest place that Jay Hill's ever been? Is it out west? Like I mean, obviously it's the history and stuff, but like freaky. Is it Kentucky?
No, the scariest?
You been to New Orleans yet?
No.
No, me either. No.
Um, Scariest place that I've ever been?
Or just like overall, I guess intimidated maybe. Like you went like, wow, this is the real deal.
I can
Like
give you the
Gettysburg's the real
I
deal.
can give you the scariest place. It was in Iowa. It was
Oh,
in a little house that was all red. It was the only red house on the block.
wow.
And what was in that house was not nice.
So we're not talking about a tourist trap bullshit place. You're talking about like a
No,
legit, real
I
no shit.
lived there. I lived there in the
Wow.
upstairs apartment.
I didn't know you lived in
Yeah,
Iowa. No shit. Iowa's a fucked up state as it is.
it is. I
It's the
can't
main of the
stand
it's the
Iowa.
main of the Midwest.
Right.
No
So
shit.
yeah, it's the. I have a story on Paranormal Memoirs on Studio Six Media on yeah
Was it by
for
Des
that is
Moines?
it no it was an hour south of hour and a half southeast of Omaha.
Oh, Nebraska, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's by Iowa. Okay, I'm trying to look at my map in my head. I got
No,
you.
yeah,
Okay.
but it was. I worked in Nebraska, but I lived in Iowa because I'm right
No
there on the
shit.
border. Yeah,
I get you. I get you.
I
Yeah.
was. I was. Thank God I'm not there anymore.
So that it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Were you before you met your wife and shit, or no?
No. No. I was.
Oh, so this is before Wisconsin, then, like really before
I
Wisconsin.
this. Yeah. No. I moved back to Wisconsin 2012. So, and
Okay.
then that 6 months later, that's when I had my stroke.
No shit.
Yeah, that's when I had my stroke, and that's when
Wow.
I quit drinking and all that, and didn't have a
Wow.
choice. But
I could have
yeah,
sworn you had another one though a couple years back, didn't
nope,
you?
nope, mm-mm.
Maybe
No,
not.
I had half my pancreas removed. Remember?
Oh, that's what it was. I knew you were in the hospital for something. I forget now.
Yeah,
Fucking million
yeah,
dollar man over here.
right, right. The $1 million man.
So what's next on Jay's docket? Who do you got next? I want to know. Who do you got next week or next time?
Um,
You have one lined up yet?
no, actually, I'm kind of taking it week by week.
That's
I don't
cool.
try to. I kind of got out of that whole routine of trying to schedule ahead because I just don't know what's going to happen then. If I
That's
can do
hard.
it within a week's time, I know where I'm going to be the next week, or I should know
Right.
90% of the time. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Um, that way, if anything happens or anything changes, people, what? What was that?
My girlfriend's kids up there playing video games.
Oh, I was like, what in the heck was that?
I was like, I
So
wonder
yeah,
if Jay heard, I wonder if they heard that. No, yeah, he gets vocal sometimes when he's
but
playing
yeah,
video.
so it's more like um, I don't want people to be anticipating that, oh, it's coming up next month and we've got this person coming, da 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 da, and then that doesn't happen. It'd be like, oh well, we were really looking forward to that. So that's why I changed that whole thing because
Smart.
things were happening that way. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna kind of go from week to week,
Wear the seat of your pants. Why
and
not? Yeah. I mean,
I mean, I've got what 4 different shows to do. I mean,
I don't know how you do it.
yeah,
One show's enough
I
for
mean,
me for
it's
the
so.
week.
I mean, there's I
True.
try to mix it up just because I'd like to be able to be involved in other people's lives like that. You know what I mean? I want to hear their stories. I want to hear, what they got going on. Even with my music, I want to be able to talk with, there's other people like, um, my friend Clay was wanting me to, was trying to get me in contact with the guitarist for Mudvayne. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean that would be really cool.
That would be
But
really cool.
yeah,
Peoria,
so
Illinois, they're from originally.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, I kind of keep my options open. You know what I mean?
I know plenty of people. If you ever need a last minute guest, I have between Nate or Thomas or even this Nomar guy. If you ever need, hey, could you find me someone? I can find you someone. Just hit me up if you need
Okay.
someone.
I'll hit you up on that. Most definitely. You
I mean,
know?
like you said, everybody's got a story. You barely even knew me. No one knew me. You let me take my story, and here I am now.
I know
To,
all
you know,
about you, brother.
now you do. Well, yeah, so you know what I mean. But you
Yeah.
introduced the world to me, so to speak. You gave me a shot when
Right.
no one knew who the fuck I was, and I've never forgotten that, Jay. Man.
There was something about the energy that you had at that moment that spirit said to me, "Yeah, you should have him on your show." And that's why I did.
Never
I
forgotten it. Got
trust
the
spirit.
shirt upstairs. I got the shirt at home, not upstairs, but at my home.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
no, seriously, man, I've never forgotten it. And like I said, sometimes we'll go a month or two without talking. But guys, Jay, second medium Jay Hill, he doesn't post a lot, but he's great at what he does, readings and stuff. Check this guy out. Follow his shit. If you get any questions for him, you want to ask through me, I'll relay it. As far as like the
Yeah.
donations go, let me know. If you want
Yeah.
to donate to Jay, let me know. I'll show you. I'll send you his way. So seriously,
Okay.
man,
All
I'll
right.
spread the word.
Well, Adam, I want to thank you for being my good buddy and hanging out with me on this Monday.
My first
Yeah.
Monday podcast, I think, ever. Very rare.
Yeah.
But that's cool, man.
It's been a little bit. Yeah. But yeah. So everybody, you can check this out wherever you get your podcast. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Um, for Adam Vegan, your host Shay Hill, and yeah, everybody, keep it real, stay out of trouble, and be smooth.
Happy Halloween.